Welcome to the GracePoint Publishing Podcast. Today, we continue our first chapter segment where our authors narrate a section of their book for you. In this episode, Jo Ann Levitt shares a section from her best-selling book, Awakening to the Power of Source, Your Guide to Co-Creating with the Divine. Please see the show notes for information on how to buy Jo Ann's book and connect further with her work. And now, here's your narrator, Jo Ann Levitt.
In the process of learning to channel and co-create with the divine, I've had a wonderful diversion, learning also that animals are very sensitive to us humans, and that if we listen closely, we can tune in to their conversation and the thoughts they are thinking. I learned about the rather exalted status of the crow from a friend of mine who said that crows are guardians of Akashic records. Those are the records of all time and all information. So I checked in with my dear friend the crow, who happened to be perched outside my window. Is this true? Are you, in fact, keepers of such records? Of course it is true, you silly girl. Then he went on to straighten me out in terms of what I knew about crows. We are the known sentinels of the universe, he said. We guard history. We guard the past, present, and future in terms of all collected knowledge. Do you think the simple caw, caw you hear from us up in the trees is just about us calling out for food or exchanging news about the weather? Don't be ridiculous. We have inborn sensors to warn us about food or predators. Of course, here where we live, the main predators turn out to be your automobiles, those big clanking tin cans traveling down the road. No, we've got pretty carefree lives for the most part. If you hear our calls, it's most likely a sign that we're partying up here in the trees. You have no idea what a delight it is for us to be airborne. Flying brings the greatest pleasure. So does our constant treasure hunt for knowledge. Of course, we must tend to food gathering and caring for our young. But for the most part, that involves easy scavenging. We don't have to line up in supermarkets or in drugstores or clothing outlets in order to take care of our basic needs. You mistake our size and our simple life, imagining us to be retro or mere simpletons. But you have no idea how cunning we are or how smart. You would be too if you turned out to be a sentinel for all knowledge. You humans have plotted out incredible charts of what you imagine is your evolutionary path. Please pardon this summary, dear apes, monkeys, and other creatures. We find it very animalist. That's the only word that can summarize human prejudice in the same vein as the words racist or sexist. However, in those evolutionary charts, you've lined everyone up as emerging from the ocean. First fish appear, then frogs, then other species, and then apes line up who can barely stand upright before the grand appearance of Homo erectus and Homo sapiens. That's it. If you must know, it is not only an archaic and outdated rendering, but it is founded on a thoroughly inaccurate understanding of evolution. A lot of times, what you mistake for cawing is just us up in the trees laughing hysterically at the arrogance and the foolishness of humanity. Now consider the fact that you have much bigger brains than we do. You certainly pride yourself on all that gray matter. But ponder deeply. In the long run, how well has that really served you? Although you may refer to us as bird brains, you don't see any of us contemplating nuclear war or beating up on our children. Although we may have an inborn pecking order, it would be very unlikely for us to carry out full-scale destruction. It is only that bald-headed, earthbound creature named Alfred Hitchcock who would ever dream up the idea of a flock of birds wishing to pounce or peck on humans. We have no interest in that. In fact, if you knew us better, you would grasp how we actually work together as a collective. It's so much easier to get things accomplished that way. Did I mention that we even cooperate with squirrels? If we're lining up for food at one of your bird feeders? Your scientists have remarked upon the fact that we actually contrive to use tools with our beaks and with our feet. However, we would never in a million years construct a tool such as a gun, even if it put us at an advantage over other species. No, we're a hardy, long-lived species who love what we do, love others, whether walking, swimming, or flying around in this environment. Most of all, we love carrying out our complex mission in multiple dimensions that you may never have heard of. If you think of us as small and stupid, we certainly won't try to disabuse you of that notion. But consider this. In all the years we've survived together on this particular planet, you've never brought us down. Most of the time, you don't even know that we're here, listening, observing, recording, taking notes, or commenting on things that will eventually wind up in the Akashic records. Though you tend to kill things off that are in any way different from you, we've never heard you call out once, "Honey, it's time to eat. We're having roasted crow meat tonight. You know that's your favorite."
Thank you for coming along with us today on the GracePoint Publishing Podcast. Join us next time as we introduce you to another one of our incredible authors. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe and rate us on your favorite podcasting platform. To find out more about our authors and to see how we can help you publish your book, head to GracePointPublishing.com. Keep writing, keep creating, your words matter.